Hi there. So, what we're going to go over now is downloading OS map data from Digimap as a DWG file and also downloading an aerial photography tile from Digimap. And then I'm going to show you what I think is the best way to overlay those in Rhino 3D. But we're going to be using Rhino for 2D work. I think it's an excellent tool for both 3D and 2D. Other CAD packages are available, but I'd recommend Rhino. So the first thing we're going to do is to download our OS map data, and the data that we want is OS master map topography data. But the first thing we're going to do is zoom in on our site area. Now I've got a site in mind in southeast London on the Old Kent Road. So I'm going to just use the scroll wheel to zoom in and the left mouse button to drag around. You can search. The search in Digimap was a little bit hit and miss, so you might be better off in many cases finding the city that you're after, or the nearest town, or the general area, and then as I say, zooming in and scroll and dragging around. Now we're going to draw a rectangle which is our area of interest. So this is how we tell Digimap what area we want to download data for. And you can see that there's a grid over the map in the display here, and that is the national grid, which is a coordinate system essentially for mapping. So what I've done is drawn my area of interest box as close as I can reasonably get to that national grid square, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go use coordinates. We're going to get the coordinates of the box that we've just drawn, and we're going to tidy these up so that they are bang on a national grid square. And you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to the nearest 1,000 meters, and in some cases I was close, in some cases I wasn't quite so close. So now we've got an area that we know is exactly corresponding to a national grid square, and so we can download our data. We want a DWG, and where it says select theme, I recommend choosing standard, and I'll get into the details of why I think that's a better option in many, if not all cases, a little bit later on. So give this download a name. So we'll just go Old Kent Road Master Map Topo and request download. So before you exit Digimap, or this area in Digimap, what I recommend is getting those coordinates again and taking a screenshot, because we're going to use these same coordinates to download our aerial tile. You could write them down. I just find that a screenshot is a really handy way to save these numbers, and if you save this screenshot in the same folder that you're going to compile your data in, then it might come in handy if you need to download a second area to add on to your first download. Say it's just good to, I think it's good practice really to save these coordinates in the same folder as you're compiling your Digimap data in. So I'm using two screens here, so I'm just going to drag that off to the right hand side, and then we can download our aerial tile. So we want to go aerial Digimap, download data, and I think it's city view 5 centimeters that we're after, but we can go up here to use coordinates and then type in the same coordinates that we just had for our master map topo data. see that we're on the same grid square as we were before. So if we go city view 5 centimeters, I think this is the latest one. It might be worth checking that. So the aerial tiles obviously aren't 100% up to date. Some of them are newer or more recent than others, yeah, it's sometimes worth downloading a few just to see what's going to work best for your particular purposes. So if we add to basket, and then we can go Old Kent Road aerial and request that download. Okay, so I'm just now just showing the what that looks like when you've got your files downloaded. So I've pulled these out of the downloads folder on this PC and just made this little file explorer window so I'm not oversharing with any other files that I've got on this machine. So you'll see they come through as a zipped folder. You can either extract all or just go into the zip folder, and the one we want obviously is the master map topo, and what I'd normally do is pull that into our, if I make this window a little bit bigger I can show you, just pull that into Old Kent Road Digimap download, and that should automatically extract, and then we can also come into our aerial tiles, and I believe that those are in here. It's just the one, of course, on this occasion, and again pull that into Old Kent Road Digimap download, and that will automatically copy your files in, or pull them out of the zip folders. Do note that there are some text files in here as well, which cover the licensing arrangements or agreements, and this one I think gives you a bit of information about all the different files that are available from Digimap. So it's worth having a look at those. I am going to crack on and get these into Rhino. So to do that, we want to right click on this DWG and then open with Rhino 7. Rhino 8 is out, but I'm still working in Rhino 7. You're going to see this dialog box, and the key thing that you want to get right here is that the model units, as in the units of the DWG that we're importing here, is in meters. And that's a pretty useful unit, I would suggest, for this kind of scale of urban realm modelling or landscape architecture. So here we go, we've got our perspective view, and you can see that it's a lovely flat DWG. Not always the case when you bring DWGs into Rhino, but Master Map, Digimap and Master Map Topo are doing us proud. I just want to talk a little bit about the arrangement of the workspace in Rhino and what I prefer, which would generally be to have layers and properties on another screen off to the right hand, on the right of the model space or the main modelling and layout space window. Because this is a tutorial, one screen is a better option, but just letting you know that this is all this can all be customized. So obviously you can just pull out your different panels, as they're called in Rhino, and move them around and get organized in a way that suits you. One of the things I love about Rhino is how customizable it is, and how you can really optimize your workflow. The more you use it, the more efficient you can be. So that is a wonderful thing. Now, let me run through how I approach getting all of this Digimap data organised. So for a start, I'm just going to make a layer called, well, I'll call it Master Map Topo. And I'm going to, you can see that structure point is misspelled, which I think is one of the, an endearing little typo there. So I'm going to drag all those layers into Master Map Topo. So you can see another thing that's fantastic in Rhino is that you can create sub layers, or you can organize your layers into layers and sub layers. So I've got all of those in Master Map Topo. Now I'm going to make a series of 3 other layer folders, if you like, and that relates to the types of layer that we have within this Master Map Topo DWG file. So some of the layers are areas, and let me just show you a little thing. Another thing that's fantastic in Rhino is that you can right click on a layer in the layers palette and then select everything that's on that layer, and the ability to, or the facility to be able to do that quickly and easily makes your layers and your layer management system a really useful in terms of organizing and managing all of the objects that you have in your drawing. AutoCAD doesn't really have this functionality, or it does have this functionality, but it's awkward and kind of annoying, annoyingly indirect to make it work this way. So that's just one of the reasons why I love Rhino. So I was talking about the different types of entities that you have, or the different types of objects that you have in this drawing. So we've got areas. Some layers are labelled as areas, and that corresponds with hatches in the file. We've got lines, and much as you would expect, these are lines. So we can see, for example, here we've got a traffic calming line. So that's to do with raised tables and other traffic calming features in highways. And then we've got points and text, which, much as you would expect, relate, those layers include road names, labels and other text entities, text objects, or annotation effectively. And then I think, for example, here we've got a cross block, which is a spot type point. So these are the 3 broad categories that I'm going to group our Master Map Topo layers into. So I'm going to call one of these areas hatches, or I'm going to create a folder that's called areas hatches. I'm going to call the second folder line work, and I'm going to call the third folder points and text. And then it's a simple matter of just dragging your different layers into, and sometimes you might want to have a look and see exactly what something is, and obviously if I can't quite see where it is in the drawing, I might just drag it to one side using the gumball, another wonderful feature. I'm going to call that a point and text. Switch marker point. So let's pull them in there. Line work now. Oh, here we go, we've got another point. So line work, step line, buffer line, surface line, electoral boundary. And you can see that the way that the Master Map Topo DWG opens in Rhino, it is broad, it's kind of, more or less already sorted out. Areas first, line work, and then points and text. And then, as you can see, we've got everything on those 3 layers. Now what I'm going to do is create another layer called National Grid Squares. As you can see, none of us is immune from the odd typo, and I'm going to, oh, here we go. So look, So I actually want to, I think because I've had my layers on the other screen, the column widths are a little bit more generous than I need over here. So turn that to current, make that current layer, and then I'm just going to copy from corner to corner on the of the these hatches. And one of the advantages of downloading the normal as opposed to line work version of or format of the master map topo data is that you get these hatches and it will give you the exact corner. And to as a little bit of a throwback, here are our coordinates. So we know that this corner, top right, we know that that coordinate, or the corner of that hatch, is, more than one, just the one will do, is exactly this, 537,000 metres east, 178,000 metres north. Now, why is that so important? If we just turn off our master map topo layers for a second, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in, and again this works really well on two screens, I'm going to drag in our aerial tile. Yes, it's a picture that we want to insert here, and you can see that I'm able to scale that aerial tile to be an exact match for the national grid square. And if we now just turn off hatches and turn on our line work and text layers, you can see that we have an absolutely perfect alignment between our master map topo data and our aerial tile.